some extent, good evening and welcome to QI, where tonight the joint is jumping. Lots of hoops to get through, so let's meet our jumpers. A classy thoroughbred, Julian Clary. Fits as a flea, Ross Noble. The human pogo stick, Bill Bailey. And a nice, warm, woolly top, Alan Davis. There we are. So they've all got buzzers, and Julian goes.
Jump around. Jump around.
Well, I'm not happy.
Sound of you jumping in there, I believe, in the pop music sphere. Ross goes.
Good overbite.
That also had jump. Bill goes. I've no idea what that means.
That was a Van Halen.
Alan goes.
Tiny kangaroo down.
Little jumpy thing too. So it's jumpers. First tonight, I'd like you all to give me your impression of some Mexican jumping beans.
Hello there, we are jumping beans.
Yeah.
Good at jumping, we cannot help ourselves.
No.
Hiya.
La
It's very
cucaracha, la cucaracha.
Say
They're not doing anything, they're
there
not
is
jumping.
a slight embarrassment here.
What's happened?
We ordered the Mexican jumping beans over the internet.
Oh.
And they arrived in fully jumping form.
Oh.
But they have since died.
I think this is... You've been had. This is a hazelnut.
It
Yeah.
looks like it. I know it looks like a hazelnut. Yeah. And
Here
they are.
It's more like Mexican fidgeting beans.
Yeah.
Can I just say that in a wildlife documentary, it's a pretty poor excuse, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
If this was a wildlife program, here's these... We had some snakes earlier, but when they came in the post, DHL tried to wedge them through the...
I know, it's deeply shaming.
How were they mistreated then? What's happened? Because Springwatch will hear of this.
Can we revive them with some powdered Doritos?
Play some Mexican music and they'll be up and running again.
I'll just crack one open, there's something in it.
Yes, there is.
Tiny battery.
Yes. There's a creature.
There is a creature in there, there's a larva.
A larva which has now sadly died, as you...
They've
Where
hatched,
did you
they've
get them
become...
from?
Is it a flea of some kind? Is it a coleoptera? Is it from the coleoptera?
You wanted to say beetle, aren't you?
I want to say beetle. I said coleoptera.
Which
just
is
to try and
even a really smart way of saying beetle.
because this is that sort of programme, isn't it? It's not BBC
Actually,
Breakfast, is it? Where
I want
kids
you to
wouldn't
say
know...
not Coleoptera, but Lepidoptera.
Oh, you mean butterflies?
Well,
No.
moths.
Moths?
Yes. They're the larva of a moth.
Ah, right.
And to be fair, they are seeds, not beans.
Yeah.
Up to 20 million of them are exported from Mexico every year around the world
For,
as a novelty.
Comedy purposes.
Yeah, for comedy purposes. Anyway, the Mexican jumping bean isn't really a bean, but it does jump, and it does come from Mexico, from the Sonoran Desert, in fact.
Right.
In Sonora, we're going to stay. What's unusual about Bailey's pocket mouse?
Wait a minute.
Obviously,
That's it.
Bailey's pocket mouse doesn't look like that.
No.
If you take away the handsome features, that's it, Bailey's pocket mouse.
Is it some sort of desert mouse that doesn't drink or something?
Well, you're almost right. You're very close.
Oh, it does drink, but only Baileys.
Yeah. That's right.
It shins up the bottle like that, and it brings its own miniature parasol.
There is a particular oil-bearing plant in Mexico.
Jojoba.
Yes! And it was thought for many years that the Bailey's mouse was the only one that could tolerate eating it, because it is basically disgusting to all other animals.
So they can survive on shampoo?
Well, that's the point, yeah. It has then become a useful oil. Since whaling stopped, it has some of the same properties as whale oil.
A lot easier to apprehend.
Yeah, than a whale. Exactly. You just get hold of a jojoba plant and it gives off this oil. But very few animals eat it, and very few animals are tolerant of it, because it's a disgusting oil.
Well, not if you're a Bailey's mouse, it's not.
Exactly. And it was thought to be the only animal that could eat it. And in fact, 3 others have since been discovered that are also capable of surviving.
Pete Burns.
Jojoba. Pete Burns is one. Sean Ryder is another.
And Bez. And Bez, yeah. Your 3 go-to jojoba guys.
As an oil, it's a laxative, and so some people use it as a frying oil, so that when you fry things in it, it just runs through you. So it's just a good way of keeping on a diet. But mostly jojoba is used for
Shampoo.
Your skin.
your skin, shampoo, cosmetics.
Yes.
Who was it who made jojoba famous?
Billy Connolly.
Billy Connolly, exactly, did a famous routine about jojoba. What's that? What the fuck's that? Jojoba? Jojoba? He has a way of repeating words, Billy Connolly, that I remember many years ago, when for the first time he was elected president of Israel, and I got this phone call.
Billy Connolly was?
No.
Hey, I tell you what. Israel, it's a lovely
phrased this the
place.
wrong way, but this particular person had been, and the phone rang, and it was Billy Connolly. He didn't introduce himself. He just went, Benjamin Netanyahu? And I said, what? He said, Benjamin Netanyahu? And I said, sorry, who is this? He went, Benjamin Netanyahu? What's that about? For fuck's sake, Benjamin Netanyahu? And then he put the phone down. I thought, it was Billy Connolly riffing on the name Benjamin Netanyahu. Yeah, and he would have done the same with jojoba. Jojoba.
The month before November, that was the joke, wasn't
That, exactly.
Sometimes Paul O'Grady phones me up and just goes, oh, then hangs out.
What's that? Get that? No. Stop it. No, don't.
Doesn't say no, don't.
Doesn't it?
No, that's Frankie Howard.
Oh, damn it. So easily confused. That was your jojoba. Now, who put jolly jumpers on their skyscrapers?
Is it Cockney rhyming slang? Jumpers on your skyscrapers. Doesn't rhyme with anything.
No, it doesn't.
Cockney not rhyming slang. I'll tell you what, I put a jumper on a skyscraper. What's a skyscraper?
it? Rhymes with rapers, that's all.
Oh, stop it. Stop it right now.
They swoop out the sky.
A horrible bunch of skyscrapers.
Go back in time. Go back in time before tall buildings. What was a skyscraper before there were such
A
things?
tree?
No. A hut.
Was it an erection?
No, it wasn't that.
Some sort of plane or aviation device. Was it an aviation device?
Look at the picture. Look at the picture.
sail.
And think.
Oh,
A mast?
Yes, the top one was called the skyscraper, but above it there would be another one, which was called the Jolly Jumper, and the Jolly Jumper was the highest sail on a boat. So it would be a sailor who would put a Jolly Jumper on a skyscraper.
Oh.
Isn't that pleasing?
That is quite interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad you're interested. The
Crow's
other...
nest, vest.
Spinnaker, football commentator.
But anyway, talking on skyscrapers and jumping is, of course, our theme. There's a famous kind of jumping that originated in Polynesia.
Bungee.
Bungee?
Bungee jumping. How did that begin?
It was the tribesmen with the twines.
Yes, it was-
Twine themselves up.
They used vines.
Yeah, vines, twines.
Vines.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Rhyming slang, wasn't
Vine,
it?
twine, yeah.
Oh, the vines,
Swine,
twines.
vine,
Yeah, no, they're
yeah,
vines, and
yeah.
they tie it round, and then they
Nice.
jump, but they didn't sort of...
They tie it
go
round
like
that
that.
ankle.
It would go into the mud. The heads go into the...
Exactly. And
right
we have
into the
film
mud.
of precisely that.
Oh,
Here you are.
there we
It's
go.
pretty scary. Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, that's got
Not an idiot.
But the thing about...
All the women are laughing their heads off.
That's the Pentecost Islands in the South Seas where it was first observed. And do you know who brought it to the world's attention?
Butlins.
No. It was David Attenborough, 50 years ago, did a documentary in which he showed this, and then Oxford Dangerous Sports Society started doing it off Clifton Suspension Bridge.
Yes.
But the first official bungee jumping was done by A.J. Hackett in New Zealand. Exactly.
Queenstown. Oh, yeah.
Near Queenstown. There's the bridge, and you're about to see a superhero, a man of astounding courage and bravery, do a bungee jump off the original A.J. Hackett Bridge. There he is. Can you see him there? He's fat. It's me! There I am. That was me bungee jumping just earlier this year, in fact.
Goodness me.
And do you know, the weird thing is, I am the biggest coward in the world. The moment I was picked up by the relief boat that picked you up, I said, I want to do it again. The adrenaline surge is so enormous. It is the biggest fun I've ever had.
And does it pull at your ankles?
Well, the major problem usually is detached retinas, actually.
Yes.
People get pop-eyed.
What about when we went scuba diving and your mask was too tight? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I don't
His eyes nearly came out of his head. He was inside the mask. And these massive eyes. We're all going, look at Bill. Check he's all right, check he's all right. And when we found out he was all right, I laughed.
No, can I just... Wait. Well, rewind. Can we just go back to the bit where you said, when you checked we were all right, you laughed, man. You were laughing from the minute my face came out of the water. There was blood. There was blood pouring out of my eyes.
You had no idea? You had no idea?
I had no idea. I was
Couldn't
going,
feel
what?
anything.
People were going, oh my God! Oh my God! I went, what? Like Carrie or something with blood streaming from my eyes.
You get eyeballs. It took quite a long time for them to recede as well.
Yes, it did. And a lot of laughing was going on.
I thought you had some sort of magnifying mask on, but when he took the mask off, they were still enormous.
Anyway, there's an even more extreme form of jumping, which is bungee in the dark, where you can't tell how far you've fallen.
As a cocktail. Bungee in the dark, please.
You've no idea how far you're going to fall.
What are bungee ropes usually made of?
Elastic.
Latex, yeah.
Oh, I've got a suit in latex.
Have you?
Just had it made.
I would like a photograph sent to me of that, please. In 2008, one Carl Dionisio used one made from 18,500 watts joined together.
Socks.
Also latex.
Elastic bands.
Condoms.
Ladies.
Condoms is the right answer. That's the greatest condom bungee of all time.
If they all inflated, it would be like the scene from Up when the house takes.
It would indeed.
And was there just loads of really tired women just in his garden?
Yes. Anyway, so jumping off a bridge turns out to be as easy as falling off a log. Now, how could these weights give you an extra 6.5 inches?
Hang them from your cock.
Is it to do with stretching out your spine?
No.
There's some sort of inscription on here.
Yes, in what language?
Sort of sound Greek, was it?
Just if we
Greek is the right answer.
Is it Greek? Oh,
That's
right.
a Greek
This is the
object.
new Greek currency.
Hang on a second, I'll just get Wilma.
Get it the wrong way up.
Yeah.
Get it the wrong way up.
No,
I've got no signal, I've got nothing.
do it that way.
No, the other way up.
that way,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's it. That's it.
The mad thing is, if Bill and I were to put these two things together, we would unleash the apocalypse.
So you're not allowed to.
Keep away.
Yeah. They're called halteres. They're Greek.
Okay.
And they gave you an extra 6.5 inches advantage at a sporting event.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Punching with rocks.
If you're
6.5 inches.
hurling with the other hand and that weight gives you more of a spin?
That's a thought, but it's
discus?
certainly an event in which you are judged by the greatest distance you have covered.
Oh, the long jump.
Long jumping. You use these.
You just
You'd
fling
think
his
they'd hold.
arms out.
At first, when people found them, they thought they might be used as a handicap system for people who were better at long jumping. They would hold them back and weigh them down. But actually, you wind it up, you wind it up, you wind it up, and then you jump, and it gives you an extra 6.5 inches advantage. And also, you look like that. You can see them depicted there, just a
there
pair of them
any,
hanging on the plate.
Is there some sort of checking system in the Olympics to check that people aren't, you know, giving themselves an extra advantage?
Well, nowadays, of
people
course, you would certainly not be allowed to do that. You would not
Having
be allowed to use
metal
Nowadays,
implants
they
in their
jump.
knuckles.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you get nipples, and then, you know, the piercings,
Yeah.
big magnet at the other end. Turn it on! You go and knock us first across the line.
What's so the hammer then? What's all the? I don't understand.
That's Celtic. Putting the shot was a
Yeah.
Celtic one. But the original Greek ones were the discus
Yes.
and the javelin and standing long jumps. Standing long jumps existed until 1912 in the Olympics. In other words, you didn't run up, you just went, yeah. And the record, bizarrely, it is pure coincidence, but the record for the standing long jump is 12 feet 2 inches.
No way.
And it so happens that the distance between there and there is exactly 12 feet 2 inches.
And I'm going to do it for you now.
The world record standing long jump is exactly that distance.
Was it set by that man with the flat cap and the cigarette on the right?
He was furious. He's furious that this bloke was doing it because the other bloke copyrighted the idea.
Yeah, exactly. Have you heard of Fjärleppen?
Lippen. It sounds
It
Scandinavian.
exists in East Anglia and in Frisia, mostly in Holland, though.
Oh,
In
jumping the
Jumping the canals.
The dikes, yeah.
Jumping the dikes using a pole. And it's a big sport. And we do it in Norfolk, where I come from.
You know they've got bridges now.
So much less fun. And you can actually see some... No, mock ye not. Watch some film of some
Brilliant,
splendid
that's great.
Fjärleppen performers, and you will be impressed. Here you are. Big run. Whoa, and... Yes!
Oh.
And didn't even fall over.
Oh, look at that.
Less fortunate. Yeah. Just to prove it's not as easy as you think. And... Oh! There you are. Fjärleppen. Wow! That's a good one. Yep. Isn't that? You can watch that forever.
Yeah,
couldn't
they
you?
should do that, like, instead of just straightforward pole dancing, they should just have, like, a loose brass pole, and then a woman in her pants runs out, hey! And then it's less sexual, you know, you can watch her arcing.
I think it is sexual.
You're
I
in
think it is.
desperate need of help, Ross. Now, you have some jump leads and some bits of old phone. Show me how to telephone a catfish.
Oh.
Jump leads and bits of phone, all right?
Phone.
I want you
Actually, your
to show me,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
using these implements,
That's real.
how you would
Oh, sorry,
telephone.
we thought you said foam.
No.
We were looking for a sponge.
What have we got to do?
Using these items, you should be able to telephone a catfish.
This is like Blue Peter, isn't
It
it?
is, isn't it? I know.
Oi, catfish!
What you have to do,
Power of bidder!
you have to telephone catfish.
Hello, 118, 118. Could I have the number of a catfish, please? Thank you.
You're in America.
Yep.
Catfish, there you can see one behind you. Highly popular dish all over the southern states of Louisiana and places like that. There's a way of catching catfish using a telephone.
OK.
Yep.
I'm just going to chuck something out here.
Thrown at
I'll
me.
throw it up to you what the group thinks. There's a small electric current that passes through a phone line.
Yep.
So you isolate...
It passes here, 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 and here.
Yes, the current passes here, here, and here.
So point A, B. Listen carefully. We'll say this only once.
I'll say this only once. And then you place the, these are called the powerful bulldog clips, upon the two terminals here and here.
That's electrocuting.
I think you've connected the same wire to itself.
Yes, there's a few teething problems, obviously. Now, there we are. There we have a current.
There's a copper bit there. That must be doing something.
Right.
Yep.
Now you place these in the water near the catfish, and then you dial, I don't know, 1-800 catfish, and causes a small current to pass through the water, stunning the catfish, which floats the service.
You're absolutely right. It was in the early days of telephones, actually, to be honest, when they used these magnetos. It was the old dial-a-phone thing.
Oh, yeah.
And you would take that from your phone, the old wind-up phone. You crank the handle, the fish would be stunned by the electrical current, and you would simply scoop them up and take them home.
So it's not specific to catfish?
Well, it was used for catfish, and it was so successful that it became essentially illegal because it overfished the catfish population.
I've seen someone doing that in Thailand with a car battery. Slung over his shoulder on a strap.
I know, they do it.
And a pole, and just wading up to his knees and just zapping.
And as you'll know, Bill, in Indonesia, they use cyanide and dynamite
Yes.
to fish.
On the tourists.
In Georgia, in 1955, you could get 30 days on a chain gang for telephoning a fish. It was called literally telephoning the fish. There's an academic study called Telephoning Fish, an examination of the creative deviance used by wildlife violators in the United States.
Oh.
So it was that big of a problem.
You could probably smash a rabbit's head in with that as well.
Yeah, you could do.
There's a lot of wildlife that could meet a terrible end from this stuff. You know, round a panther, you know.
There was another thing they used to do, which is a way of poaching deer, is that in the evenings, the deer would mingle with cattle.
Socially.
Socially, yeah. And you would crawl up behind a cow with a pistol and you'd shoot the deer. But the problem is you're in the middle of a field and you're miles from home. So what you would then do is you would get an air pump and you would place it up the rectum of the deer and you would pump it full of air and you'd put it on the river and it would float downstream to your partner, who would then place it on the boat. It was a way of transporting poached deer by pumping them up.
By pumping them with air up the...
Up the Jackson.
I thought they were standing behind the cow to shoot the deer so that the other deer would think the cow did it.
Exactly. But actually, it goes further back than that. Native Americans used walnuts and buckeye leaves to grind and drop them in the water, which would instantly deoxygenate the water downstream. The fish would come straight to the surface.
Cunning.
Which is very, very clever. There are ways of catching fish that are sort of unfair.
It's very easy. I've caught mackerel with nothing that resembles a lure of fish.
A simple shopping trolley.
But by singing?
Just by
Singing.
They're so stupid.
Yep.
They really are.
Tell it.
Anything. You could just lower a piece of paper with hook written on it, and they would...
Poor mackerel.
Swim to the shore, fling yourself onto the beach. OK.
So it's time to put away our telephones and our objects, if we can. It's all right. OK. So much for telephoning fish. How about jumping camels?
What?
Jumping camels.
Jumping camels?
Yeah.
What do you mean, just, you know, without any kind of a chit-chat before? Just...
Jump the beast.
Just straight in...
In the Yemen.
In the desert as well.
In the Yemen.
I don't believe that camel can jump. I never
No,
lift itself off
it's
the
not
ground.
the camels that are jumping.
Do you jump from one camel to another?
It's more than that. Think Eddie Kidd.
Oh, jumping over... All right.
Yeah.
Stunt bike.
Stunt. Not bike, though.
Oh.
Just simply by your own human power, leaping over camels.
What?
The record is 6. No. One human being can run up and leap over 6 dromedaries.
With a trampoline or something?
No, there's a small amount of dirt laid up as a kind of jumping off point, but no trampoline.
Is there a bicycle pump involved?
No bicycle. No bicycle pump. I mean, Yemen has some of the world's severest water shortages. It's got a 50th of the average of the world's water supply. Despite the fact that they have so little water, 40% of the water they have is spent on cultivating
Golf
what?
courses.
No, they don't have that in Yemen, no. Something that they are addicted to.
Coffee, tea.
Something they chew.
Oh,
Chewing gum.
Cat. Cat is the right answer.
yes.
Cat.
Cat.
There it is. Cat. You can see it behind you.
Not cats, but cat.
Cat is a herb. It's a slight stimulant. It's not like cane or speed or anything like that. It's not like an amphetamine. It's more like an espresso.
Well,
It gives you a kind of buzz.
yeah, it's like an aero.
Oh. It's about a third of the economic activity of the Yemen.
No
put
wonder
into
they're
one
doing so
country
well.
Goes into cats.
Don't they have cat houses in London, don't they? Where people actually go around and chew it. They sit,
Yep.
like Yemeni blokes just sit around
Yep.
just for days on end.
And the older men get huge pouchy cheeks because they fill so much of it.
Oh, I know where I'm going for my holidays.
All right. OK. So, while we're there, what did the environmentalists say to the camel?
Stop farting. They produce a lot of methane.
Yes, they do. Where in particular?
Out their arse.
No, there's a particular place where camels are
Known for it.
extremely numerous. Where-
Egypt.
Yes, but this is a place
Oh, no,
where...
Australia. Is it Australia?
Australia.
We've got more wild camels in Australia than anywhere else on the planet.
Exactly. They have the highest number of feral camels. In fact, they have 1.2 million of them.
I like rats. They're vermin.
Yeah.
They get in your house.
Yeah,
It's
and
a
you can
nightmare.
see the only that sign
traps
could be
down
Australia, couldn't it? Look at it. Camel, wombat, kangaroo. But the fact is, they export them to Arabia for meat
right, they
and
do,
for
yes.
racing.
Because they're a finer sort of
Yeah.
species of
They
camel.
were brought over originally as a pack animal to Australia. They seemed very natural because Australia's a dry country and camels survive well, obviously, in dry climates. People thought perfect, but of course they bred and they bred and they bred, and suddenly you've got these 1.2 million camels.
Yeah.
And they do an enormous amount of anal wind expulsion.
They were on at download. Actually.
45... It's actually...
They supported orchestral
To be fair
manoeuvres
to
in the
them-
dark.
To be fair to them, it's not so much anal as oral. It's 45 kilograms of methane a year.
Oh, God, you wouldn't want to stick one of them in a river, would
No.
you? You'd put it
It's
like
the
a
equivalent of
speedboat,
a
wouldn't you?
metric-
I've shot a camel.
It's the equivalent of a metric ton of CO2 in its impact on global warming. It's quite extraordinary. It's a sixth the amount of the average car. So now there's a company called Northwest Carbon, which has set up a thing where you offset your carbon footprint, if you're an Australian car driver, by paying this company to go and shoot camels. Which is basically a bit unfair because, let's face it, Europeans with cars are as unnatural to Australia as camels are. And it seems a bit unfair. Why shouldn't the camels shoot the humans?
Yes.
Here's the thing, though, while we're talking about all this whole business of ecology, Sainsbury's, the supermarket chain, very useful supermarket chain, the great thing about Sainsbury's, it keeps the scum out of Waitrose. All right, here's an initiative announced by Sainsbury's.
Go
on. By reducing the diameter of the tube of a loo roll from 123 millimetres to 112 millimetres, right? Just 11 millimetre reduction. They will be able to fit more rolls into the same lorry. Given the scale of the loo roll market, we use 45 to 50 rolls a year each. And that's including you.
I do that over weekend.
Yes, all right. This will mean 500 fewer lorry trips a year just by doing that, by reducing the centre tube by 11 millimetres.
Wow, this is the principal difference between men and women, in my view, is the amount of loo roll that women use is unbelievable. I mean, a roll could go in one visit.
To be fair, though,
Wrapping it round.
At least women don't pee all over the floor.
You know that's that's not true.
A lot of women clapping there.
Obviously, they do use more loo, but it's a lot harder for them to shake than it is for us. Do you know what I mean? Cheeky flick, everything's fine. For a woman to do that, she's got to get on a swing.
Or one of those power plates, you know, the ones that go...
One of those.
You wouldn't need a power plate. All you need is a vibrating loo.
Oh, that's it. There you go.
Sit on it, you have a wee, press a button. Yeah. Jump in, you're clean.
Trouble with that is they'd never get off it.
Are you coming out of there?
Oh, God.
I think I've got diarrhea. Now, here's the question.
It's a shaken vac.
Drinking leaves the water.
I have to tell you that the little baby Jesus, whom I have never believed in until this minute, has told me to change the subject. All right. And we're going to jump. As we're jumping, we're going to jump. We're going to jump to Spain. We're on a roll. Why do these babies have nothing to fear? There are men jumping over them. Oh. But why have they nothing to fear?
Yes.
It's a real event that happens in Spain.
Baby jumping.
Baby jumping it's the baby jumping festival El Colacho.
El Colacho.
Yes,
of course.
Near Burgos in northern Spain, in the Castrillo de Murcia. The reason is that these babies have been purged of their original sin in this ceremony, so that if they die, they won't go to hell.
Burgos has the largest cathedral in Spain.
It's a very huge cathedral.
Enormous.
Yeah.
I love the concept of original sin. It's like you go to confess and you go in and the priest goes, that's not original enough.
Derivative sin.
All right, then, I got a transit van and then pushed it into a bouncy castle. Yep, I haven't heard that before. You can have a blessing.
Well, yes, the Catholic Church is slightly embarrassed about this festival, actually, because...
I could think, on the vibrating loo, you'd have different speeds, wouldn't you? Like a dial. Maybe side to side, forwards and back, round and round.
But basically...
And then one... and then one like the waltzers. They go right
There are no reports of injured babies.
All right.
So you may prefer to indulge in a Japanese ceremony called the Hadaka Matsuri. It's the naked festival.
Raw baby eating.
Yep, it takes place in Okayama. There they are. 500-year-old event. It culminates in 9,000 men in loincloths wrestling in mud.
Are they all men? Some of them look like women.
Well, they're all
There's
men.
a woman in the middle there, surely.
No, she's a man. He's a man. and then, in the end, the lucky man gets thrown a pair of sticks by a Shinto priest at around midnight, and the winner thrusts the sticks into a wooden box filled with rice and is granted a year of happiness. It seems a perfectly normal way to behave to me, don't you think?
Yeah. So run me through it again. You get a pair of sticks.
9,000 naked men wrestle in mud.
with great big pouchy mouths.
And then eventually, a Shinto priest throws 2 sticks to the winner, who sticks it in some rice and is granted happiness.
OK.
Yeah, that's it.
I love rice.
Yeah.
Is that... Yeah.
5 stars on TripAdvisor, this, wasn't it? Yeah.
All right. Jumping out of planes now. What? OK, what happens if you wear your parachute upside down?
You get back on... You're going to say you get back on the plane?
Yes, Bill, you're in first.
I was going to say that you just it comes out the wrong way, and you're fine. It's inside out.
Yes.
You go upwards and you get back on the plane.
Whoa! No.
I would think you'd be all right, wouldn't you? The parachute would catch the air anyway and it would open.
I have some experience of this.
Yes, go on, tell us.
I've done a tandem jump. I was once tossed through a hatch strapped to a red devil. My life sort of flashed before me.
Yes.
And I didn't think the parachute was going to to come out, but obviously it did, or I wouldn't be here. But I did ask Keith, his name was.
Keith the Red Devil.
Yes. What would happen? It doesn't bear thinking about, apparently. No, you would die.
You really would die.
Did you ask him this on the way down? Keith! Keith! Shut up! Just shut up!
You can't speak at all. Before the parachute goes up, you're falling so quickly, your cheeks are out here.
Pouch-like.
Pouch-like. See, a theme is emerging. And I had a camera attached to my helmet, which...
Behave. Everyone is to behave. Just because Julian said helmet it's not a cue for laughter. It is a butch moment.
It's a night out, isn't it?
Yes.
Anyway, you couldn't speak because of the velocity of the wind filling up every orifice. Can I have a point?
You certainly can. You're absolutely right, yeah. The problem with the early days of parachuting was that the standard-shaped parachute would cause a lot of waving back and forwards. So someone said that maybe a V-shaped parachute would be a good idea. A 61-year-old watercolourist called Cocker. Oh, Cocking, I beg his pardon. Cocking. Robert Cocking.
Can we have like an innuendo buzzer then?
No. His name was Robert Cocking. And he tried out in 1837 the V-shaped, and he became parachuting's first fatality.
You know, there's this probably got this on the cost, but you know that the SAS, you know how they do the old abseiling out of the helicopters? and
Yes.
stuff? They actually...
Rappelling, you're thinking of.
What?
Rappelling.
How dare you?
Yeah. Speed rappelling.
Speed rappelling. Yeah, they experimented parachuting out of helicopters, and of course the downdraft caved the thing in and they just die.
Yeah.
So that's why they did the rappelling, as I like to call it.
Yeah. Very good. You get sucked up into the updraft, which you don't want to get sucked
You
up.
don't want to get sucked up in it, or
You
what?
don't stop it. Cocking.
Pouch like mouths.
Cocking tried to involve himself with a balloon, and he went from the balloon and he went up too fast. It was all it was a big disaster.
Went up too fast.
Yes,
Yeah.
went up too fast.
He died on the spot, and the landlord of the pub where he landed charged people £6 to look at his body and made £10, which is quite successful.
He was lying there stiff as a board.
Yeah. But his widow successfully sued him and he had to pay the £10 back. Oh. But who was it who proposed a parachute back in 1485?
Proposed a parachute?
Yeah, suggested the idea of a parachute.
Bound to be Da Vinci.
It was indeed Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo DiCaprio. He never tested it practically. The first actual jump of a parachute was made in 1783, which is quite early, isn't it?
Yes.
By someone called Louis-Sébastien Lenormand, from a height of only 4 metres. So there we are. That's your parachuting. Now, this is fun. It's a dubious theory about jumping foxes.
A dubious theory from Stephen Fry.
According to researchers from the Czech Republic, foxes prefer to pounce on their prey in a northeasterly direction. As long as they do so, they are successful 73% of the time. If they jump in some other direction, they are much less successful, 18% of the time. So, the researchers think they must be using the Earth's magnetic field in some way which we don't yet understand. Dubious or not, visit foxyschmoxy.co.uk and then decide for yourself if you dare.
A dubious theory from Stephen Fry.
Yes, it is actually true that foxes do, the vast majority of their pounces on mice in particular are in exactly that direction. In the northern hemisphere, the magnetic field tilts downwards at about 65 degrees.
Yeah.
The idea is the fox searches for the spot where the angle of the sound hitting its ears matches the slope of the Earth's magnetic field. It knows it's then a fixed distance away and can accurately leap on the mouse. It seems to be that it does have some very strong bearing on the Earth's magnetic field. And while we're on the subject of snow, we should look at avalanches. What should you not do if there's a danger of an avalanche?
Make a loud noise.
Oh, Julian, I wish you hadn't said that. No. Although it's a convenient plot device in movies, the idea of a gunshot or a shout or a loud noise causing an avalanche is a complete fallacy.
Oh, I'm sure I've seen it in a film.
As I say, it does happen in films,
Right.
but not in real life. Look at this one here.
Wow.
Look at it. Look at this. Coming straight at the camera. This is scary. Look at that. Jesus. Look, I mean, that is... Ah...
I'd love it if it came over Julian and Ross.
And then it's going to hit the camera, and then in a minute... Bang. All right, so we're now going to have something incredibly exciting. At least I hope it's exciting. It's a jolly jape. I do love my jolly japes.
I love a jolly jape.
I've got here a little... what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and create something that will make you think, no, Stephen, this is not possible. Stephen, I will now bow down and worship you forever. I'm going to try and create a square bubble.
No.
Shut up, Stephen.
I'm on the verge of worshipping you forever.
Yeah, exactly. How would you not be? A square bubble.
Shut the
all
front door.
So I've got this. I've got this here. Can you see that bubble there?
Oh.
But it's not yet square. But if I blow,
No way!
square bubble. Oh. Square bubble. How amazing is that?
Very cool.
On television, virtually live, as we say. It's probably the only interesting and important thing I've ever done in my life. But I'm proud, and thank you for enjoying my square bubble.
Oh,
Well, that's the Jolly Jape. And on that bubble shell, I jump over to the scoreboard. I suppose I have to begin at the bottom. Julian.
No.
Unfortunately, you scored -7 points. You were at third place with -4.
Thanks, sir.
In second place with 5 points, Ross Noble. And just 1 point ahead on +6 is Bill Bailey. Well, that's all from Julian, Ross, Bill, Alan and me. Be adorable to each other always. Good night.
Stay with us here on BBC HD, heading from Woolwich to Bangladesh as we find the toughest place to be a ferryman next.